Ho, 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 ASA members. What does this holiday season bring us? More information on A through F? No, that'll come in the new year. A surprise for 2018, I'm sure. Let's see what's under the Christmas tree. Why, this large present is from President Trump and Congress. What could be inside? A lump of coal? No, a tax bill, i.e. a lump of coal. According to multiple sources, if you live in Arizona, your Christmas presents may be smaller next year because you will be paying more taxes. 250,000 Arizonans will pay at least $1,300 more, according to one analysis. Now remember, the SALT deduction, state and local taxes, you will lose that under whatever bill passes, is claimed by 28% of Arizonans at an average of $7,400. And remember, that includes your property tax as well as your state and local income taxes. To quote Monday Night Football, "Come on, man." Speaking of Christmas presents, Arizona's charter schools have received some recently. The Arizona Civil Liberties Union published a research report analyzing enrollment patterns in charter schools. And yes, guess what they found, and I'll quote. The nonprofit, that's the ACLU, identified barriers that could discourage the enrollment of students with disabilities, weak grades, low test scores, behavior problems, little money, or parents without legal status. Well, I for one am just completely shocked by this news. In some cases, schools capped the number of students with disabilities they would serve, a clear violation of federal law. And again, that's a quote from the ACLU report. Now, if you want to read more about this, a link to the article is attached. Another Christmas present was presented, this time to our favorite research body, the Goldwater Institute. Yes, a recent lengthy report by the Arizona Republic revealed how closely, going back to 2011, the Goldwater Institute has strongly influenced the Arizona Department of Education in administering the school voucher, Empowerment Scholarship Accounts program, virtually running that program in the early years of its establishment in 2011. Does anybody doubt that? Now let's move on to Proposition 301, discussion of which has dominated recent educational conversations in our state. There are several alternatives to this proposition, which, as most of you know, sunsets in 2021. In fact, there are several gifts on the table, courtesy of the taxpayers. There's a small one, a medium-sized one, and a big one. And these sizes correspond to the tax increases, sales tax increases that they propose. Let's start with the 1.5 cent proposal by Reg Ballantyne, Phil Francis, and John Whiteman. This was touted at a breakfast about a week ago. This is a 1.5% sales tax, almost a full penny over the present 0.6. Now, this one they propose, putting this on the ballot in 2020, November of 2020, right at the very edge of the fiscal cliff. This money would go for teacher pay, full day kinder. There would be capital, but that would be run through the school finance board, good old SFB, proposes money also for the universities and for vocational education. But the vocational education money would not go through the current JTED districts. So, 1.5 cent, the big package. Will voters support a big increase in sales tax in 2020? Proponents argue they will, because they're only a few months away from the disaster of Prop 301 going over the cliff, and each teacher in the state would lose $6,000 or more in pay. Therefore, they argue, people would support this because they simply have to. We can't afford to cut 15% of teacher pay in this state. Okay, then there's the medium-sized package, whose big proponent is Superintendent Douglas. This is a 1% tax, again, 4/10 more than the current one. And she proposes that this be permanent, so it wouldn't be an election again. That it go for teacher pay, and again, that it would go for capital. The capital would go through the School Facilities Board. Finally, the little guy. Prop 301, as is, 0.6%, $600 million, as opposed to the well over $1 billion with the 1.5 cents increase. Robert Robb, in an article that you can see attached, advises against going for the 1.5 cent in 2020, saying it's a terrible gamble. But Mr. Robb, the Arizona Republic columnist, said, first do a straight renewal of the 0.6. Then with that in hand, and he says do that immediately, with that in hand, voters could be presented with a larger tax increase at a later date, even if this meant going against the wishes of Governor Ducey, which it certainly would. But at least, Robb argues, you would have the 0.6 Prop 301 renewal in your pocket when you engaged in conflict with the governor over a tax increase later. So, that's the three presents under the tree. Which one will voters decide to open? Which one should ASA support? 1.5, 1.6. And none of these packages, by the way, includes highly qualified, fully certified teachers, because that shortage continues. And I've attached an article about the teacher shortage done by the Arizona Republic, which shows over 1,000 unqualified teachers in our Arizona public schools. As if that surprises anyone. Okay, on to more positive news. Upcoming events. Our division meeting, the next one, January 22nd. Our elementary division conference for aspiring principals, Friday, February 2nd. And finally, remember, applications are now open to nominate a National Association of Secondary School Principals Principal of the Year. Be thinking, do any of your colleagues deserve to be nominated as Principal of the Year? So, after we've looked at all these presents, take a survey of your situation and answer this question. What's under your tree?